Do you feel like everything you eat either bloats you, exhausts you, or leaves you feeling rubbish? Well, you're not alone. And this is actually one of the most common struggles I hear from women with Hashimoto's. Why food feels so confusing when you have Hashimoto's. Everyone online is saying something different. Some people are saying stay away from broccoli and cauliflower. Some people are saying you must take lots of iodine rich foods. Some people are saying stay away from iodine. Some people are saying that you should be eating really low carb, like keto or carnivore. Some people are saying gluten free is enough. It can be really confusing. Here's the truth about diet and Hashimoto's. It does make a huge difference. However, your body is unique. So you're going to be responding to food in a completely different way to somebody else. The goal is not to follow the rules of any one strict diet plan, but to help your gut to heal and then gradually over time learn what works for you. We want to build our intuition. We want to get to the point where we can eat mindfully, but it's going to take some time to get there. You know, many of us have been so disconnected from ourselves for many years, and we haven't been used to using that skill of tapping into our intuition. And so it can take some time to learn how to do it again and reconnect with that part. Where to start without overwhelm? There are two frameworks that work really well for thyroid and Hashimoto's healing. One of them is AIP, which stands for Autoimmune Protocol, and Paleo. Now, you might be saying, oh, well, they're just another diet again. That's not the point of following one of these frameworks. The point is that they are there to almost give you that reset. They're there to help take out the inflammatory foods and put in anti-inflammatory, nourishing whole foods. Because with Hashimoto's, there's so many issues going on. And one of the fundamental issues is gut issues. The gut can be in such a state with Hashimoto's. It could be that we've got low stomach acid going on, we've got an imbalanced microbiome, and leaky gut syndrome. Now, generally, most cases of autoimmune disease have leaky guts, and this is something that we must tend to. Now, when we adopt a framework for eating, such as Paleo or AIP, it's not to be looked at as something to do forever. Now, of course, you might decide that eating more paleo, it just feels right for you long term. But the likelihood is you are going to start reintroducing some other foods, and that's absolutely okay. That's the point of it. These diets are to be seen as a starting point. So if you're feeling really lost and overwhelmed and confused, one of these may be right for you. Now, what I love about paleo and AIP is that it's helped so many people. Okay, so it generally is the type of diet that is going to move the needle when it comes to someone who's really struggling with Hashimoto's, okay? And remember, it's not about doing this forever, it's about a starting place. Now, another note to make is that there are 3 common food triggers for people with Hashimoto's. Now, they're ones to look out for, and if you're in the stage at the start where you're wanting to heal your gut, give your digestion a break, you are going to want to look at removing these for the time being. Number 1 is gluten, number 2 is dairy, and number 3 is soy. These are very common triggers in people with Hashimoto's, and a lot of people notice that when they remove them, their digestion gets better, their energy levels improve. So I've already spoken about leaky gut. So this is why this matters. We need to heal the gut in order to calm the immune system down. Because what we're trying to do in Hashimoto's is we're trying to calm down that inflammation, because the immune system is attacking the thyroid, and that's causing a cascade of inflammation all throughout the body. So if we can calm down that immune response and get that immune system more balanced, that's going to help us feel tons better and get energy back. So how to approach it? A good place to start is to have a look at Paleo and AIP and see which one could work for you. Try it for 30 days at the start. Keep a food and symptom diary looking at energy, digestion, sleep, your skin, and your mood. Don't forget your mood, that's a really important one. Now, if you feel, so AIP is a lot more stricter than Paleo. So it's really depending on the pace you want to go at, how you're feeling, your symptoms. For me personally, my symptoms I was in such a bad state, and my symptoms were that severe with my digestion that I went straight onto the more elimination style diet, and it was restricting. However, it gave me time to start healing my gut, and I won back energy fairly quickly doing it. Now, it's not for everybody to jump straight into the restrictive AIP, so paleo is quite a nice alternative. It gives you a lot more options and includes things like nuts and seeds and nightshades as well. The idea is not to just jump straight into something overnight. It's to look ahead and plan. How am I going to make this work? I'm going to do this for 30 days. Let's just take one step at a time. So you don't need to start straight away. You can start by looking at a list of what are the paleo friendly foods. Then we're going to start to look at substitutions. What do I normally eat and what could I replace? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you're going to want to make a shopping list and a meal plan. You're also going to want to schedule some time every week, preferably at the weekend, where you can do some batch cooking. These are all going to set you up for the best success. But please don't do my mistake and just go straight in without doing any of this planning. This planning is going to save your sanity, I promise. But if you want to start feeling better quicker, this can be a good cleanse period, a good reset period. And then from there, you can then look at, what do I want to do from now? If you notice a difference, you might then want to extend for another month or two. And then once you get to a point where you're feeling quite confident, then maybe you want to start reintroducing foods. I always advise reintroducing one food at a time, because that way you can tell if you've had any flare-ups. You can tell it may have been linked to that particular food. So always keep a food diary, a food journal as you move through this. This process is training your brain to notice how you're feeling, right? Because we don't often tune into our body. So this process of journaling is going to help you do that. So if you'd love some extra support with planning your meals ahead of time, then I have created, especially for you, a weekly meal plan printable. Now, this is going to help you plan your meals for your week ahead. It's got space for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and of course, snacks and drinks. And then, really importantly, it has space for your food shopping list. So, this is going to really help you to get super organized and take the stress out of this new meal plan. So, this is completely free. I'll put the link down below for it, so make sure that you get yours. Now, is the Paleo or AIP the best diet in the world for Hashimoto's? Some people will say yes, it really helped me. However, it's not going to be the same for everybody. But what I would say is a really good starting place. Mindset around food. So food isn't just about right, I need to stick to this diet and the rules and being rigid. It's not about that. It's about changing our mindset with food. So instead of us either eating because, we're feeling down and emotional and want to make ourselves feel better with something sugary and sweet, or perhaps we are being too rigid about sticking to a particular diet plan. It's about changing that mindset and asking ourselves, is this being kind to me? Is this food choice, is this meal choice being kind to me? Am I nourishing myself with this? Am I feeding the inflammation by eating this? Am I going to feel really rubbish afterwards? Am I going to feel bloated, inflamed, in pain afterwards? And is that kind to me? And so we want to think of food as either fueling the inflammation or fueling healing. So it's also about adding in some positive self-talk, which is something that I really love to focus on with my coaching clients. So it's about bringing it all together. We're looking at nourishing our body with food and at the same time nourishing our body with our words to ourselves, with our thoughts, okay? So instead of looking at this kind of diet plan as this really strict thing, that should be really rigid and we're going to punish ourselves if we get it wrong and we're going to feel really guilty if we eat something we shouldn't have, let's throw all of that out, okay? We want to do this in the most graceful way possible to ourselves, and we're going to make mistakes along the way. We're going to forget things. There's going to be some time where we're not prepared, and it's all okay as long as you just keep getting back on. Just keep getting back on the track, right? If you fall off the track, just get back on. It's about building that intuition with your body. And lastly, I want to mention some practical hacks for blood sugar balance. How to not get those blood sugar spikes followed by those big crashes where you just feel so fatigued and they're feeding inflammation. So 2 things you can do is, number 1, you want to add a healthy protein and a really healthy fat, such as eggs and avocado, together with something starchy. So if you are going to have something like a gluten-free bread, or you're going to have something starchy, maybe some fruit, you want to make sure that you're adding in some protein and fat. And then tip number 2 is go for a short walk after eating. Just a nice, slow, short walk can really help stop your blood sugar from spiking, and therefore you can win back some energy. Blood sugar imbalances are really common in people with Hashimoto's and thyroid issues, and so it's something that we really need to pay attention to. So if everything you eat feels like it makes you worse, remember this: you're not broken, you just need a reset. Start with a healing diet like AIP or Paleo, or look into another diet yourself. Maybe you go see a nutritionist or a functional medicine doctor and they help point you in the right direction. But either way, it's good to have some sort of starting point that we know that many thyroid and Hashimoto's patients benefit from. You can then learn the skill of honing your intuition, keeping track of how you feel, and then building that trust with your body again, so that eventually you can then not feel so dependent on asking other people what to do and what diet you should be on. You can then tweak and adopt and craft the most bespoke and unique diet for you, and that's coming from you and your intuition. And this is what I really encourage my coaching clients to do, and I help them with. So thank you so much for listening to this video. I really hope you found it helpful. Please do leave a like if you did, and leave a comment if you are on this journey. Let us know, are you navigating food for Hashimoto's to help yourself feel better? What have you tried so far? Is there anything that you've tried that's working? It'd be great to share It's always good to know that we're not alone in this, and of course, learn from each other. All right, so thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.